What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Rene. I hope that y'all are doing well. This is This Week in Black. See you in 30 seconds. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it is your girl, Rene, and this is This Week in Black. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you had a marvelous week. My week has been a kind of a tough one. You know how that is. Sometimes you have off days, sometimes you have off weeks. Some people have off months, you know what I mean? But that's part of this, part of living and just being out here in the world. All different type of things are coming at you, you know what I mean? So I hope that if you had a tough week, that it gets better before the week is over, that your next week is great. If you had an awesome week, I hope you continue to have awesome weeks. Make sure that we are spreading around some of that awesomeness and that greatness. And if your week wasn't so good, try to keep some of that negativity to yourself. Sometimes, people can spread negativity, and it is even on purpose sometimes. You've ever heard the saying, misery loves company? Some people's misery does love company. Mine's personally, my misery likes to be left alone. Okay. With that said, make sure that you're checking on your strongest friends to make sure that they are okay. Oftentimes we are forgot about, and we too have our issues and our sadness, hardships, things that are going on with us. So just check on us, okay? Even when we're trying to check on you, check on us and say, well, how you doing? And really mean that, okay? If this is your first time here, again, I'm your host, Rene, and this is This Week in Black. This is a show that is dedicated for us, for those that look like us, for those that identify as Black people, African Americans, whatever you want to call yourself. You know what I'm talking about, right? This is something that highlights the things that are going on in our lives, be it our news, our accomplishments, our achievements, and things that affect our health. We have to make sure that we're putting out our own news, because we're the ones that need to narrate our lives and the things that are going on with our people. We can't allow others to just do that for us, because oftentimes they might lack insight or purposely will, plant things that aren't necessarily true. So it's very important for us to make sure that we are making our own news, okay? If you would like to come onto my show to talk about what's going on in your neighborhood, or a company that you're a part of, or that you've created a business plan or anything like that, you definitely can. Make sure you reach out to me at 914-655-4993. Okay, again, that's 914-655-4993. You can definitely reach out and you come on up here and tell us about what's going on in your hood, your community, going on in your business and things like that. We do have some guests that are planned up to show up that are coming in the future. There's a few people. I have my brother, Timeless Thomas. All right. He is out of Wilmington, Delaware. He has an amazing book. It's back there on my bookshelf. He's going to be able to come and talk about his book and just his life experiences. He's also into broadcasting, a content creator. He's an awesome guy. He's doing big things. Okay. So I definitely want to give him a shout out. We have another brother that's going to be coming on talking about mental health and things like that, and a plethora of other guests that are lined up to come. But I would love to have you to be one of those guests. So definitely make sure that you reach out to me at 914-655-4993, and we can figure out how that works, okay? If you would like to sponsor us This Week in Black, you definitely can do that. With sponsorship, we would definitely run your commercials, and we would definitely give you a shout out. We definitely appreciate any type of sponsorship or support that we get, even if you're just sharing this, even if you're just watching it, if you're commenting and things like that. All of those things are greatly appreciated, because there's definitely something else that you could have been doing, and you've decided to take this time to see what I'm talking about. So you're definitely appreciated, okay? So I want to start this one off talking about some news that's going on. This is something that's going on in Georgia, okay? I would like to thank, let me see, K.Michelle_ATL and I am Sharp Bates. That's how I got privy to this information, and I think it's definitely something that y'all will want to know about as well. Here it goes.
Tell me about Cop City.
Cop City is a $90 million militarized police training facility that the city of Atlanta is trying to dump in the middle of the blackest part of Southeast Atlanta. Cop City would be equipped with a mock city for urban warfare training, complete with a bomb testing facility, a Black Hawk helicopter landing pad, a mock apartment complex where they could scale buildings and pretend to break into people's houses and blow their up and terrorize the community. And oh, I forgot, a nice walking path right through the middle of it.
Wow. Let's give a quick shout out to all of the Democratic leadership that marched with Black Lives Matter, turned around and voted for Cop City.
Let's give a big shout out to Mayor Andre Dickens, Council members Michael Julian Bond, Andrea Boone, Marcy Collier Overstreet, Mary Norwood, Dustin Hillis, Matt Westmoreland, Howard Shook. Oh, we cannot forget about Byron Amos. He gets a special shout out because he represents the district that is also the victim of environmental racism, the same as the land where they want to build Cop City. And those residents have a very, very bad problem with lead in their water. And the EPA came out to try to help the residents mitigate that. And Byron Amos did not even do the least that he could do and send a letter to constituents to say, hey, the EPA is here. They want to help you with your lead problem. Come out and let us help you. Oh, and he's making sure that there is no affordable housing in his district.
What's his name again?
Byron Amos. Big
Say his name.
You, Byron Amos.
Byron Amos. Byron Amos. Okay, got a special shout out on his debauchery and bullshit that he's got going on in Georgia. I definitely say please follow them so you can find out more about that situation as it grows. I didn't know anything about it. And this is why it's important, you see, why we make sure that we're putting out our news. They're not talking about it anywhere on the mainstream that I've seen. And I found this through somebody that shared it through their platform, okay? I'm glad that that man was there to interview him. I'm not really sure of his name. They didn't tag him, but definitely want to stay in contact and find out and stay in the mix of what's going on with that. Again, you can add K.Michelle, that's Michelle with 2 L's, _ ATL, and I am Sharp, SHARBATES. Okay, they are definitely there, boots on ground, and they're keeping up with it. Our prayers are sent out to those people, especially those with the lead issue. Speaking of lead, this is something else that's going on. Lead seems to be a problem also in Wilmington, Delaware, and across Delaware when it comes to the school system. A lot of the schools have lead in their water, lead to the point that it shouldn't be consumed. Nobody wants to consume any lead, but it's definitely at a high that is absolutely unacceptable. And I don't think it's really being addressed. My people that are out there in Delaware, I will be touching down next weekend so I can get a better beat on that, and to also go to Jeremy McDowell Day. Something else that's going on in Delaware is the fact that they like to kill Black people. Yeah, shoot them dead. Be them have weapons or not, they like to shoot them dead and then play in their family's face like they weren't in the wrong, and then give them this hard time where they got to fight in the street and protest to find out what happened to their loved one, and then they let them know what happened, and they're pretty much like, fuck you, that's what happened, and they send them down the road and don't want to give them any type of compensation. And if they do stand the test of time and continue to fight and finally get some compensation, they would love to get your John Hancock, which is your signature on some paperwork that says you can't continue to come after us even though the police negligently killed your loved one. That's going on in Wilmington, Delaware. We need to get rid of Leobor. That's part of the problem there. Okay, but I digress. Whoo, big breath. Now, it's not in our face like it was, 2-3 years ago, especially when we were slowed down with the pandemic. But there are still crazy things going on out there when it comes to our people, when it comes to legislation, when it comes to the police, politics, the judicial system, and the prison systems. So please make sure that you stay tapped in on that. Even though it's not, prime time news and it's not at the head of your feed, please know that there are still different struggles that are going on in that realm. So you want to just keep in mind of those things so you can stay privy to them so that you'll be able to share the information and step in when you get a chance, okay? That is the crazy thing that's happening this week in Black. But this show is based off of positive things that are going on with us, and we'll be talking about them next. But we're going to take 30 seconds, go ahead and get you some water, check on them kids, and I'll be right back to tell you some more about what's going on with This Week in Black. All right, welcome back. Hopefully, you got yourself some refreshments, checked on them kids, checked your cell phone, see what's going on. So let's jump into some positivity, because when it comes to our community, we definitely have lots of positives, lots of achievements, and lots of amazing things. So I want to make sure that I cover that. Let's talk about this young man right here. All right. We got this from authentic_African on Instagram. All right. This is Corian Evans. While driving in Mississippi, he saw a car swerve and crash into a river. Without hesitation, he jumped into the water and rescued the 3 girls inside of the vehicle, as well as the police officer that was trying to save him. All right. He was 16 years old. We want to give a shout out to him. Thank you, brother, for being so brave and for helping those children and the officer that tried to help them. I guess that goes to show you, with that and some of the things that happened on August 5th, Black people can indeed swim, and he put it to use. Congratulations, young man. Thank you so much for helping those. I'm sure their families are very happy. Okay, a little bit of sports news here, all right? Serena and Venus Williams are the first Black women to become owners of an NFL team. Okay, it's the Dolphins. Let me talk about it. The sisters are the first Black women to become minority investors in the NFL. All right. The team that they picked is the Miami Dolphins. Okay. Again, they are minority investors of that NFL team, and they are the first Black women to do so. Y'all go ahead. Not only are they knocking down doors when it comes to this tennis, they also doing other things that are just as phenomenal. So we definitely want to congratulate them. Shout out to them. Y'all go ahead and do your thing. All right, this young lady right here, Mom of 4, launches the first Black female-owned plant-based baby formula brand. Yes, plant-based. For those of us that are vegan, or, just trying to find something that isn't heavily laden in a lot of byproducts and products like that, she came up with baby formula that's vegan-based. Okay, it's giving people an opportunity to decide how they really want to work with their children's nutrition. Let's talk about it. All right, her name is April Kelly. She is the founder and CEO of Shore. Okay, that's the name of her company, Shore, an innovative plant-based infant formula alternative. So shout out to her, okay? We are in the day and ages of we are seeing a lot of firsts. And I want to remind you again, don't be upset that, oh my gosh, this is just now happening. That's all right. It's happening. And from first, you got fifth. From fifth, you got 10th. From 10th, you get 100. You understand what I'm saying? So kudos to her right there. All right, let's talk about this brother right here. Entrepreneur makes history opening the first ever owned Black bank in Arkansas. If you notice, there are more and more Black banks that are opening up across America. I think it's a beautiful thing. I'm sure that y'all do as well. We can start to invest with people that look like us, which will help us to have community wealth. And when I say community, I mean community as a Black people. You know how you got little China, little Italy. You have different, the Jewish have their own space and community. Things like this is helping that. Okay, let's talk about this brother right here. His name is Arto Washington. Okay, he is the founder and CEO of People Trust Community Federal Credit Union. Now that's a mouthful. People Trust Community Federal Credit Union. It's accredited and has full services, okay? And it is in North Little Rock, Arkansas. So shout out to that brother. We got another first. We're not playing. We are not playing out here, okay? We got this brother. It says ex-felon. I hate that word. I hate the word felon. Felon is the new slur word. That's by my boy Justin Guyton. He has a book called Felon is the New Slur Word. Make sure y'all check that out. Very good read back there on my bookshelf. Let me continue. All right, inside of a Walmart. Let's talk about him. All right, his name is Sean Corbett. Made history by opening his very own barbershop called the Lucky Spot Barbershop inside of a Walmart. He is the first Black entrepreneur to ever do so. So we definitely want to give kudos to him. Like I said, we are out here doing our thing. First, it's a few first, and I don't want y'all to get discouraged because it's like all these first things are just happening. They happening. I want y'all to focus on the fact that they're happening, okay? Now this engineer right here, okay? An engineer has solved Kenya's waste problem, turning plastic garbage into bricks that are 5 times stronger than concrete. She's planning to use these bricks to create low-cost housing for impoverished Kenyans. Let's get a little deeper into it. All right, her name is Nazambi Mati. Use science to solve 2 crises at once that are going on in Kenya. Okay. Mati is originally from Nairobi. She used plastic waste from the approximate 500 metric tons that are produced every day in Kenya. Okay. She took some of this and she created these bricks. All right. She has to date taken over 20 tons of waste and made them into bricks. So we definitely want to shout out to that engineer. It's very important that we tell our little girls, if we can, and our young men too, but we see less women in it, to get into STEM. That's part of the engineers, okay? We want to get into that. Very awesome. Definitely great accomplishment. Okay, we got one more, excuse me. This young lady right here, okay, she's a Black owner of 50 Airbnb properties, and she launches a construction firm to build affordable housing. This comes to us via Black News that you can find on Instagram. Unfortunately, they didn't put her name. If y'all do know this young lady's name, definitely please put it in the comments so we can give her a full acknowledgement. But we are grateful for these firsts. Y'all are out here doing y'all thing, and I'm proud to be Black, okay? We are out here doing it. We are innovative. We are smart. We are intelligent. We are path makers. We are trailblazers. We are all of those things, right? All of the things that they always tried to make us to believe that we weren't. We ain't on none of that stuff. We have a lot of intellect and innovation and inspiring minds and compassion and love and just beautifulness of us. And it's beautiful to see it every single day. Okay. I definitely say that y'all should make sure that you follow some of those news sources that I got that stuff from. We got Black and Brown Success. We have Black News. I got one of those from State versus Us magazine, excuse me. And just make sure that we are following each other, sharing each other's achievements, sharing each other's platforms and things like that, because we're the ones that's making our news. So we got to make sure that it gets put out there, okay? Definitely got to make sure of that. So I want to talk about some magazines that you can add into your repertoire of magazinery. I don't know if magazinery is a real word, but I know you know exactly what I was talking about, don't you? All right, now all of these magazines are owned by Black entrepreneurs. Shout out to Black entrepreneurism, okay? Let's get to it. We have Hood Politics. Okay, you can definitely find them. You can find them on Instagram under Hood Politics, or you can do a Google search. You'll find them, all right? This is one of their magazines. This magazine in particular, I'm inside of it. Guess where I got this magazine? Back on my bookshelf, okay? This is Black owned. You definitely want to check them out. All right, we have Gutter Magazine. They are out of the Carolinas, North Carolina to be exact. Not only is it a magazine, it's also a clothing line. You can definitely make sure that y'all follow them on Instagram and be on the lookout for their magazine as well. All right, we have this magazine right here. Inmate Link magazine. That guy right there that you see on the cover, he is the founder and creator of this magazine with help from the outside world, of course. This is why it's important for us to make sure that we are supporting our brothers and sisters behind the wall so they can become a part of society while they're in there and do great, amazing things. This magazine right here is Black owned, Black led, and he gives other incarcerated people an opportunity to express themselves and say what they got going on. So you definitely want to check them out. That's Inmate Link magazine. Excuse me. We got BGE magazine. All right, now BGE magazine has a few. He's got the BGE magazine that's straight up, and then he has Prison Entrepreneur, which is like a baby of BGE. Like it's just right there. You know, it's like got BGE, then you got this. This right here is talking about all the entrepreneurs that are behind the walls. All of them that's got something going on. Okay, this is the place to be. And it's also talking to those that have come home and are doing big things as well. My brother Sean Gardner is in this one right here. He is from Behind the Wall Mentors. You can definitely check out Behind the Wall Mentors on Instagram. There's some brothers that's behind that wall doing phenomenal things out here, putting together different events for the youth, putting things together for the brothers back there. They got books that are trying to sell them and things like that, bringing the community together in a real way. So you definitely want to check out bge.magazine on Instagram and Behind the Walls Mentors on Instagram. All right. Then we have this one right here. Shh. Okay, this is my girl Jacob Miller. I write this magazine right here. This is for the grown and sexy. Okay, if you're not grown and sexy, you leave this magazine. Okay, if you're trying to figure out what grown and sexy is, if you're not grown and sexy, but you're trying to figure out what it is, go on and get you this one right here. You can definitely connect with her on Instagram. Let me pull up her Instagram so I can get y'all right all the way. I would hate to misquote her. I want y'all to be able to link with her. And on Instagram, that is Jacob Miller. Okay, she's got it JCAMILLERR. And that's how you can connect with her to make sure that you get you some of this magazine right here. And definitely last but not least, we have State versus Us magazine. Now this is episode 5. Excuse me, not episode. This is volume 5. This isn't the most recent cover, but this is one of my favorite covers. Shout out to Vincent Bragg. He's out there with Concreates. He's doing his thing. Okay, he came home hitting the ground running. He's putting a lot of other entrepreneurs on that are interested in the visual arts and producing and things like that. Shout out to him. He's out there in California. State versus Us magazine, the official voice of the voiceless. She's assisted. Tia Hamilton is the one that put that together. She has assisted 8 people on coming home, 8 people and counting. You can also find articles by me, J. Rene, in the various State versus Us. Okay, this one that's about to drop, excuse me, issue 7. This one going to put a dent. This one going to piss some people off, and by some people, I mean them people, not us. That's going, putting out there some things that you definitely don't want to miss. You want to definitely connect with State versus Us mag. Okay, I'm gonna put their banner on the bottom so y'all can make sure that you get at them. Yo, I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't know what it is, but I've been doing this double clicking thing, man. Like I click something and I double click it, and it's got me looking real crazy. Like I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's something neurological. I don't know if it's just my nerves, if I'm moving too fast, but it's starting to kind of get on my nerves a little bit. I don't know what that's about. But here I am nonetheless. How y'all doing? I hope y'all are doing all right. My mood has popped up a little bit. I need to plug in my computer because it is telling me that my battery is low. So y'all take this opportunity to get y'all 30 more seconds. Go ahead and get y'all something to drink, something to eat. Go peep on them kids, see what's going on, check your phone messages and all of that. I'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, we are back, and I am connected to the power, so it don't cut off on us. Okay. I want to tell y'all about a few things. Well, I'm not going to tell y'all. I want to show y'all some things that y'all might not know. Okay, in the spirit of This Week in Black, we're going to talk about some things in Black culture that you might not have known. So check these ones out, y'all.
92-year-old says she never planned to become a scientist or make history.
When I went to Nazareth, I took primarily chemistry and math. So I didn't choose it. It chose me, I tell everybody.
After working in labs, hospitals, and eventually at U of L doing medical and dental research, she landed a job as the first black chemist at Brown-Forman in 1966. And she says she didn't let a lack of diversity get in the way of excelling.
It's like I tell everybody now, here I am, take me as I am. And, you learn.
Samara B. Davis, the founder of the Black Bourbon Society, says Allen is a trailblazer in the field.
She made this major contribution to bourbon, but there's still so much to fill and there's so much to do in order for everything to be really diverse and inclusive in our space.
Davis says it was important to her to see Allen honored for all she's done to break down barriers in the bourbon.
Miss Allen about to have me crying. All I seen was a grandmama. Okay, shout out to Miss Allen being a trailblazer back into that STEM program. She said it chose her, right? How amazing is that? So we want to definitely give a shout out to her. I'm glad that she got to have that moment to receive that achievement while she was here and it wasn't in her memory. All right, shout out to her, Miss Allen. Here's something else she might not have known. Take a peek at this.
I bet you didn't know that Charles Hamilton Houston was about that life. Nicknamed the man who killed Jim Crow, he gave us the blueprint for outthinking bigots. Yeah, pay attention, class is in session. After serving in the segregated U.S. Army during World War I, Houston came back home on a mission. Secure a law degree from Harvard, then start busting up these systems. And that's exactly what he did. In the 1930s, he knew that white liberals weren't brave enough to pass pro-black legislation. So he devised a strategy to chip away at Jim Crow laws in the courts instead. Bro was playing chess, not checkers. As an attorney, he systematically attacked segregation by proving that school facilities for black kids were always separate but never equal. In fact, when a black man was denied admissions to the University of Missouri's law school because he was black, Charles Hamilton Houston sued them, arguing that the university either had to admit him or build a separate but equal law school for black students. The courts agreed, starting the downfall of Jim Crow segregation. Yeah, that's that big brain energy. His work was the blueprint for the civil rights movement and laid the foundation for Brown v. Board of Education. Charles Hamilton Houston.
All right, now you can definitely check them out at the new 10th, because that video is actually longer, but the way that it was acting crazy, it wouldn't allow me to capture the whole video and share it for you. There's actually probably about 30 to 40 more seconds of information. So I definitely urge you to go check that out. There's some other stuff that I want to talk about. So, having financial freedom is something that is new to some of us, right? A lot of us, when we were growing up, was taught how to pretty much, get a job and work at the best that you can and advance and get raises. And that's just what you did. You went out and you worked for somebody else. And there's still lots of people that's doing that. And there's nothing wrong for working with somebody else. But we're now in an opportunity where a lot of us are working for ourselves. Congratulations to those that have that ability. Everyone doesn't. Anyone that has the ability to work for themselves, I think that we have a responsibility to pass on all the knowledge that we do know. And sometimes it's going side to side. You telling your peers. Sometimes you might be telling somebody older than you. Sometimes you might be putting somebody younger than you up on game. Well, whoever you telling, make sure that you're telling them anything that you learn. Make sure that you're spreading that. Sometimes people have a bad habit of gatekeeping stuff. Like they want you to struggle and suffer to get somewhere that they got when they figured out how to get there. Giving the blueprint to our people can only make our people stronger. It shouldn't be something that you hold close to your chest. You're holding a blueprint close to your chest because you want other people to suffer like you did it or figure it out or get it out the mud. Now, these things can build character, but if you figured out how to get from A to B in the shortest amount of time, why would you sit there and watch somebody go all the way around that straight line when you can tell them how to get there? We got to get rid of that mentality that we are not supposed to help each other. How do you think other races are doing so well? It's because they help each other. They put each other on. They're telling what to do. They tell them the things they can do. They hook them up with their connections. This is the kind of thing that we should be doing for each other if we want our society to progress and become better. Now, I understand that there are some people that are nothing but opportunists. I'm not talking about them. This is when some discernment comes in, and your common sense and your eyes, and you're paying attention to what's going on to know the difference. But if you see somebody who's really trying to do this work and trying to get it done, help them, man. That should be, I shouldn't even have to be telling you this, but sometimes we can forget. Sometimes we just getting and going, and we ain't even thinking about nothing. Help our peoples, man. When you see somebody struggling and you know a better way, give them the tools, man. Let them give them the tools and the jewels and let them know what to do. Now they're gonna do what they want. You might tell them and they might not do nothing with it. That's all right. You let them know. You let them know. We got to get out of the habit of not wanting to help each other, of holding our context so close to our chest. Help your peoples, man. If you know they good peoples and they trying to do their thing, help them out. Now, this young lady is going to tell us about some IRA stuff that you might not have known about.
This client wanted to know which was better, a 401k, a Roth IRA, or an IUL. Let me show you. This client takes $2,000 a month and puts it into a 401k. After 30 years of saving, they have $2.4 million sitting inside the account. The fees to maintain the account over the lifetime were over $111,000, meaning their ending balance was $2.3 million. Now, the problem is not all of that is their money. 30% of that account actually belongs to Uncle Sam in taxes when they go to make withdrawals, which leaves them with a balance of $1.6 million that's still in the stock market. So yes, they can lose. Now, the benefit of the Roth IRA is that it's a tax-advantaged vehicle, but the problem is that it's capped at a max contribution of $6,500 a year. If this client maxes out the account for 30 years, they'll have over $626,000 sitting in their account when they go to retire. Mind you, that money is in the stock market, so they can lose, and mind you, there's no pension on the account, so it can run out. Now, if they took $2,000 a month and put it into an IUL, not only would they have over $2 million of death benefit, but their account would grow every single year, and it would be liquid so they can access it before 59 and a half. When they go to retire, they would have over $1.7 million 30 years from now, tax-free, sitting inside the account. But the best part is they will never run out of money, which means they'll receive a tax-free income of over $113,000 every single year for.
All right, we're going to run that back because I never
this client wanted to know which was better, a 401k, a Roth IRA, or an IUL. Let me show you. This client takes $2,000 a month and puts it into a 401k. After 30 years of saving, they have $2.4 million sitting inside the account. The fees to maintain the account over the lifetime were over $111,000, meaning their ending balance was $2.3 million. Now, the problem is not all of that is their money. 30% of that account actually belongs to Uncle Sam in taxes when they go to make withdrawals, which leaves them with a balance of $1.6 million that's still in the stock market. So yes, they can lose. Now, the benefit of the Roth IRA is that it's a tax-advantaged vehicle, but the problem is that it's capped at a max contribution of $6,500 a year. If this client maxes out the account for 30 years, they'll have over $626,000 sitting in their account when they go to retire. Mind you, that money is in the stock market, so they can lose, and mind you, there's no pension on the account, so it can run out. Now, if they took $2,000 a month and put it into an IUL, not only would they have over $2 million of death benefit, but their account would grow every single year, and it would be liquid so they can access it before 59 and a half. When they go to retire, they would have over $1.7 million 30 years from now, tax-free, sitting inside the account. But the best part is they will never run out of money, which means they'll receive a tax-free income of over $113,000 every single year for.
All right. See, I never even knew an IUL existed. See why knowledge is power? Now, I'm an old lady now. I can only hope to be alive in 30 years. This is some information I wish I would have known when I was 18, 20 even. You know what I mean? 30 even. You know what I'm saying? I say that to say, make sure that you're spreading the wealth. Okay, that is something very important. I ran it back twice because she was talking kind of fast, and I know that sometimes, we need to take notes of stuff. So you definitely want to look into an IUL. I'm not really sure what that is. So me and you, we learned something together. So I learned that and I'm sharing it with you. I hope that it's beneficial. And if you yourself can't benefit from it, please, please, please put your kids on. Put your little sister on, your little bro, your little cousin, somebody. Put somebody on that you see out here trying to do their thing. You know what I mean? You got to put us on, man. That's how we stay. How you think, like in the world, like let's be honest though, like you see people doing their thing because they know the knowledge of how to make the system work to their advantage, yo. We got to learn that too. And when we learn that, we share with our people. It's not going to run out. You don't got to be stingy. So, I don't want to tell them how to do an IUL. Why? You don't have to pay on their stuff. You know what I mean? Share the wealth, man. Make sure that you're sharing the wealth. All right. So this is something that y'all have seen before, but I do want to definitely run it back. It is that time of year again. Kids are back in school. And this is some things that I thought was pretty cool. This first video is going to talk about some questions that you can ask your teacher to make sure that you're staying informed on what's going on with your child and their learning experience. And then something really clever that I thought in a way to help kids learn, younger kids. So check this out, all right? I'm probably going to run the teacher one with the questions twice so you can catch all of the questions that she's asking.
Over and over again, over and over again, I am your God, I did it before, and I will do it again. Over and over again, I'll do it over and over again. I am your.
All right, now make sure you don't forget. I think this first one that you're going to see is going to be live, but you will be able to pause it later if they are moving kind of quick. They are moving quick, so I'm gonna run it back one more time. Hopefully, you'll be able to catch these questions.
Over and over again, over and over again, I am your God, I did it before, and I will do it again. Over and over again, I'll do it over and over again. I am your.
All right, that's a few quick questions that you can ask to get a better understanding on what's going on with your child. Sometimes when you go to these meetings, you kind of draw a blank. You don't know what to ask, really. You're just sitting there and you're listening to what the teacher says. And there's nothing wrong with listening, but these questions will hopefully give you some insight on what's going on with your child so that you can make sure they're having the best experiences that they can so that they can get the best learning out of school that they can. All right. So this little thing, I thought this was really cute. This is really good for children that are in those in the younger grades that are learning how to spell and sound out words. I thought this was really neat. Check it out.
Ugh, hug, pug, jug, mug, dug, bug, rug. Ugh, hug, pug, jug, mug, dug, bug, rug.
Now, the cool thing about that is on the actual spoon, you can change that. You can change the letters on there. So you might change it to IN, and then you got 10 and pin and den, and you know what I'm saying? Things like that. And this can help your child to be able to identify different words, see how they sound alike. And it just is a good tool to help them see what they're saying at the same time, see what they have in common. And it's just really cool. It gives them something active to do besides just staring at a book and listening to you talk about it or just writing it down. It actually gives them something to do with their hands because, you know, little people, man, they can be like, So this gives them an activity to do at the same time that they're learning. You know what I mean? They can move the stick around. They're going to have fun with that. Kids like to be doing stuff. So I thought that was really neat. That's something that y'all definitely, I think, will be helpful to add to the learning experience of your kids when they come home. Because, you know, at school, they learning at school. And once they come home, you got to keep teaching them, right? You got to keep teaching them so they don't forget. So you can double down on the things that they learn. This is going to help them to stay where they need to be. It's going to help them stay in the place that they need to be in school so they're with their peers. And it's just going to help them overall just be a better student. You know, I know when I was growing up, I ain't get no breaks from school for real. In the summertime, I had activity books, okay, and I was practicing penmanship, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but I'm thankful for it now because I understand now. It wasn't to take away my summer fun or nothing like that. It was to make sure that I was cool. You know what I mean? So I can definitely appreciate it now, but it wasn't as many fun activities as it is now. So have fun with your kids with their learning experiences. And I think that you'll find them to be very beneficial. Okay. So we're going to talk about something else with business. I know that AI is a very big thing. I'm learning more and more about it. And I thought this was really cool. I had this same clip play last week. Okay. Her name is at the bottom. Make sure that you follow her. She's always giving out great information when it comes to AI and stuff like that. But this is something that you might want to check out, especially if you're a content creator, you're trying to figure out AI a little bit. Check this out.
Maki.ai. This is a free website that does mockups 100% free 99. Look, it got AI generator for t-shirts, sweatshirts, tote bags, cap, phone covers, stickers, cans, cushions, boxes, iPhone mockups, everything. Okay, I gotta put the gold joint. So it's not just regular t-shirts or whatever. It actually gives you the models of it, right? So let's say if I wanted to go into a tank top because it's summer vibes, let's do hoodie. Shout out to the people who could wear a hoodie anytime. Got some bottles, no watermark, no nothing. It allowed me to download it for free. It allows you to move where exactly the logo is, and you can download it. It's great.
All right, so that is AI, but it also is for those that have different items for sale, for those that are creating clothes or different items that they want to sell, that they want to make sure have their personalized logos, excuse me. That is one of the ones that you can check out that will assist you in making sure that your stuff look professional. All right, how things look, the professionalism, how crisp it is, and all of that matters when it comes to people's money and them spending their money with you. If you got your stuff up there and it's just thrown up there, people gonna be like, that look kind of sketchy, and they're not gonna want food with it. You know, you always want to put your best foot forward and be professional and things like this. So we want to take to our advantage the things that exist that help us do that, and this seems to be one of those things. So y'all definitely want to check that out. I want to run back some health things that we've talked about before. Our show is almost to a close. Okay. There's a couple health things that I want to talk about. We're talking about oysters. I'm bringing up oysters again because people be eating them. And I think people need to know what's going on with them. And we're going to talk about the stickers that you find on your food. I think more and more we're becoming more conscious and concerned about what we're putting into our bodies. So I think these two things are right on time. So first we're going to talk about the oysters, and then we're going to talk about the stickers that are found on your food.
You probably already heard it, but a 54-year-old man died from eating raw oysters from a St. Louis seafood stand. First off, rest in peace to that man. This post is for awareness because I learned something about oysters that I didn't know before. Let's get into this. This occurred because it was a Vibrio vulnificus infection. It can be carried by oysters and other shellfish. The bacteria is mostly found in warm coastal waters, usually during the summer. And I didn't know you weren't supposed to eat oysters with months that don't contain the letter I. So that's September through April. People infected with Vibrio can see symptoms anywhere from 12 hours to a week. Symptoms can include abdominal cramping, nausea, fever, vomiting, and chills. Severe illness and death is usually rare, but still be careful. So the best way to avoid is to avoid months that don't got eye in it. Don't eat raw in those months, and or make sure it's cooked, fried, baked, anything. And just to mention, it may be a reason why the Bible said don't eat shellfish. Saying fins and scales is cool, but anything else could be an abomination. But regardless, rest in peace. I didn't know anything about the letter R month, so that's a great, amazing tip that I didn't know about before. And if you didn't, now you know. If you do know, spread it. Love. See y'all next video.
All right, make sure y'all keep that tip in mind and be sure to spread that tip. Now we're going to talk about the different stickers that you can find on your fruits and your produce. Okay, check this out.
Know that the number on your fruit in the supermarket actually indicates whether or not the fruit was sprayed with pesticides versus if it is fully organic. If the number has 4 digits and begins with a 4 or a 3, that means it's been conventionally grown with the use of pesticides. If it begins with a 9 and is 5 digits long, that means it's been organically grown. A 5 digit code starting with an 8 means that the produce has been genetically modified, but labeling is not mandatory. You guys know that the number on your fruit in the supermarket actually indicates whether or not the fruit was sprayed with pesticides versus if it is fully organic. If the number has 4 digits and begins with a 4 or a 3, that means it's been conventionally grown with the use of pesticides. If it begins with a 9 and is 5 digits long, that means it's been organically grown. A 5 digit code starting with an 8 means that the produce has been genetically modified, but labeling is not mandatory.
All right, so hopefully that gives you some insight on your produce. One of the biggest things that I will always be a promoter of, and I hope that you started, if you haven't started, is growing your own food, man. Growing your own food is important. Not only because you can control what's going on with it, just in case. Like why wouldn't you want to grow your own food if you can? At least some of the stuff, you know what I mean? Lots of fruits and vegetables can be grown in your own backyard, in your own community space. So look into that, man. Look into that. I would also suggest that you look into ways to purify water. Make sure you got some water on hand, but look into ways to purify water. That might be something that'll be important. The way the world is going, you never know what type of situation you're going to be in. So being able to have your own food and water is a good start as opposed to not knowing where you're going to get food and water from. You know what I mean? If things break out. But that is the different content media that I have to share. I hope that y'all definitely enjoyed the show. Again, if you would like to be on this show and you would like to talk about what you got going on in your neighborhood, what you got going on with your business, if you're trying to start a business, what's good in your hood, you can definitely come and holler at me and I'll have you on. Reach out to me, J. Rene, at 914-655-4993. That's 914-655-4993. And just we can talk about it. Talk about what you're interested in, okay? And have you on the show to promote yourself, promote your brand, promote what's going on in your neighborhood, different events, or anything like that. If you want to talk about something that's going on in the justice system in your neighborhood or a prison or anything of the sort, definitely make sure that you reach out to me. Again, the number is 914-655-4993. Definitely. Also, I would love for y'all to check me out at my personal platform, Prison Riot Radio. You can find that on Instagram under prison_riot_radio. And I also have a website, prisonriotradio.com. That's prisonriotradio.com. And on there, I am giving the opportunity for those that are incarcerated and formerly so to have a voice, man, amplify what they got going on, promote themselves, talk about what's going on in their facility or in their minds, what's going on in solitary confinement, what's going on in these different judicial systems that we don't know about, corruptions but not only bad, to showcase their verbal rap ability or their singing skills or the fact that they can write clothing lines. It's all kind of stuff. All kind of amazing things are going on with the brothers and sisters that are behind the G-Wall. And sometimes all they need is a little assistance in being able to get some of their ideas to come out where they can look at it. Sometimes all they need is some help. Sometimes all they need is some emails sent or some phone calls connected or calling people on their behalf. Sometimes it's the smallest things that can help propel something really, really great. So please make sure that we're not turning our back on those that are incarcerated just because they're out of sight, out of mind, okay? If you know something that's going on in any type of facility that isn't right, you can definitely reach out to me. You can reach out to me by phone at 914-655-9443, or you can reach out to me by email at prisonriotradio@gmail.com. prisonriotradio@gmail.com. If you've talked to me before, be it by writing or by voice, and you ain't heard back from me, you waiting on something from me, reach out again. Okay, it'd be a lot of moving pieces. I talk to a lot of people, and I don't never mean to forget anybody. I would love for you to reach out to me so we can get to the bottom of whatever it is that you want to talk about, so that I can assist you if I can. So please make sure that you reach out. So at the end of these, I always got some jewels to drop, right? And I always pick the jewels off the top of my head. And the thing that's resonating in my heart today, even though I tried to shake it and see if it was something else to talk about, is just our love, man. Our love of each other. The internet is a crazy place, man. And sometimes when you get on the internet, you can see so many negative things from people that look like you, that it will make you feel like all of them feel that way or the whole world feels that way. And I want to be the first to remind you that that's not true. Remember that the internet is a place where people of like minds can congregate, and they can either congregate and do greatness, or they can congregate and be idiots together. The internet, Facebook and Instagram, give people that can congregate together that are all dum dums. They can congregate, and it can seem like the whole world is dumb. It's not true. If the whole world was dumb, we'd be in a very different world. But we can't forget that there are some dum dums in the world. Okay. Um, right now there seems to be a war, a battle of the sexes between black men and black women. That's what I've noticed. There are some of us that still got our sense about us, and there's some of us that are all out of whack. And it can be disheartening, and like I said, it can seem very overwhelming, especially if you find yourself in a space and every black man in that space is talking about how treacherous and horrid black women are, and vice versa. There are lots of spaces where there's black women talking about how black men are trash. But I want you to know, black woman, black man, I want you to know that you cannot base your self-worth off of these platforms where the dum-dums can congregate together. You know who you are. If you know that you're an upstanding man, that's who you are. Do not become discouraged because some bobbleheads want to say that all of y'all aren't. Okay? If you know that you are a good woman of great moral character, don't let some ding dongs make you feel like you're a whore. Okay? You don't have to pick up everything that somebody's putting down. Now, depending who you ask, they will say this is very purposeful, this division. And it can go back as far as Willie Lynch era days, back in the slave days, where they put us and pit us against each other. I often ask myself, is this where this deep-seated division comes from? Because, I've looked up things about the post-traumatic slave disorder. I think it's something that it's about time for me to double back into to find out what's the new that they're talking about, and just to be well and better versed in it, so I can see how it really is affecting our daily lives in a way that I might be able to express to help us. That's my thing, is communication. But it's crazy, man. Like, if I didn't know who I was, the internet would have me about ready to jump out a window. You know what I mean? So for those of you that have good sense, for those of you that are amazing and wonderful people, do not let the internet change who you are. Don't let other people change who you are. Now, you could change who they are to you, but you don't have to become a product of your environment in that way. If you've dated 4 women and they all were trash, don't believe that all women are trash, because they're not, baby. I promise you. You need to figure out what it is inside of you that is making you or helping you gravitate towards women that are trashy. Or it might be a location thing. You got to figure that out. If every man that you've ever dated has abused you, all men don't abuse. I'm a attest to that. I'm a attest to that. I've never been hit in any relationship I've been in. Now, I've been in one relationship that was verbally abusive. I'll say 2 just to be fair. You know what I mean? But all of them aren't like that, baby. All of them aren't like that. So you have to figure out what it is in you that's broken, that you continue to pick guys that are abusive. I want you to stay inspired. I want you to stay hopeful. I want you to stay compassionate, humble, and loving. And when it comes to humility, know that it's different levels of it. And know that being humble doesn't mean letting somebody walk all over you. That's not the same thing. You don't have to let people make you a doormat to prove that you're humble. You can be humble and stand up for yourself. Okay? I want you to remember that. You don't have to put up with poor behavior just because you're trying to do the right thing, or you're trying to be the bigger person. Being the bigger person sometimes means not reacting to the bullshit. It doesn't mean enduring it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you're going to have to let go of that friend that's nothing but negative if it's affecting your mental health. Sometimes you got to give people 50 feet, and that's okay. It's okay to protect the space around you. It's okay to protect your heart, but don't let it become so protected that you become rigid or hateful or bitter. It takes a little bit of work to find a good balance and to work on your discernment, to pay attention to different signs, to know when it's time to gracefully bow out, to know how to stay humble and still stand up for yourself, to know that it's a difference, that you don't have to be a doormat to be humble, that you can stand up for yourself without being evil or mean. Sometimes you got to make hard decisions because they have to be made, and then you have to stand on them, and that's all right too. So this should make you mindful of the things that you're saying. I'm the type of person, I don't just say stuff to say it. If I say I want to do something, I really meant that. If I say I don't want to do something, I really mean that. We've come to a world where people will say, well, I'm not doing this no more. And then they go do it again the next day. I don't understand that. That don't make no sense to me. Be mindful of people that are very quick to flip-flop and go back and forth. Be mindful of that. Remember that about them so you can't be surprised when they flip-flop on you. Be mindful of people that say they're going to do one thing and then they do something else. Be mindful of people that say they're not going to do something, then they go do it anyway. This is going to help you with your discernment so you can protect yourself without having to be evil and harsh and mean. It's a tough, hard world out there. And sometimes the only kindness that you'll get will be from the place that you least expect. Okay? I hope that y'all have an amazing week or this week coming up. I hope to see y'all next weekend when we're talking about This Week in Black again with some more major achievements of people in our community, young and old. And if there's anything in particular that you think that I should talk about when it comes to Black people, please leave a message below and let me know what you think that is. And I'll definitely get on top of that. I definitely want to talk about and engage in the subjects that our people are most interested in so we can get some forward movement on some of the things that we're trying to do. Again, my name is Jay Rene. I definitely appreciate you. And this is This Week in Black. Again, if you would like to sponsor, be a guest, or any other thing of the like, find out and spark a conversation with me. 914-655-4993. I would love to hear from you. Now, again, as y'all know, it's your girl, Jay Rene, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Peace.